I welcome Sri K.R. Meena, Director of Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, and also Mr. Amaresh Day, Consultant with Central PMU from the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and all other startups and startups from Manage and other part of the country, and also all the team members of Center for Innovation and Agripreneurship of Manage, and all others also I welcome for this program. And as you know, Government of India launched a very ambitious Agriculture Infrastructure Fund for support large number of agribusiness and agri-entrepreneurs and startups, and to give the orientation and also startups especially what type of support they can get like that to straight away interact with the ministry officials. We arranged this one. Even last 2 meetings, some of our startups are participated, and a few more startups may be joining. And with this, I will request Ms. Sri K.R. Meena to address the participants, then we can have the presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Saab. Good afternoon to all of you. Respected Dr. P. Chandrasekhar, DG Manage, and Dr. Sarvana, and all members of Team Manage, and my dear participants from various agri-entrepreneurs and agri-startups. First of all, I would like to convey my sincere thanks on behalf of Department of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare for joining this orientation program on EIF for agri-startups. First of all, I will give you a brief introduction about the scheme, then my team will give you a detailed presentation to all of you. We will also have that question answer discussions. So we will try to clarify your doubts. जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं that there is a huge gap between existing infrastructure and required infrastructure in agriculture sector. And for especially agri startups, there is a lack of availability of financing facility from the lending institutions. And also, we all are aware that there is a huge loss, about 15 to 20% after post-harvest activities. So, to address all these such issues, Government of India launched a Agri-Infra Fund scheme last year in July. Now, almost 1 year already completed, and more than 10,000 applications we received on our portal. As on date, more than 5,000 crore loan also sanctioned by different lending institutions. So this is a 1 lakh crore financing facility, where that 1 lakh crore will be available for all types of beneficiaries, such as farmers, FPOs, cooperative sector, marketing cooperative societies, startups, agri-entrepreneurs, APMCs, mandis also can avail this facility, and state as well as central government agencies. If any municipality, corporation and other such as warehouse corporation and other corporation of the states, if they would like to avail this facility, they can avail. So here the 3% interest subvention will be provided by Government of India on the financing up to 2 crore. It will be for 7 years, including 2 years moratorium. Credit guarantee also will be available for the eligible beneficiaries, such as for agri startups. If you are the small scale industries registered with the MSME, you can avail that credit guarantee through CGTMSE scheme. Then this scheme can be dovetailed with all other central as well as state government schemes, where that capital subsidies also available in that many schemes, and interest subventions also there some state government schemes beneficiary can take. For your kind information, as on date, all the private sector as well as public sector bank have been signed that MOU with the Department of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, and they agreed to finance against this scheme with the MCLR plus 1% cap at the 9% also. So this is a brief introduction, and the projects, mainly three types of projects are covered under this scheme. Post harvest activities such as storage facility, including warehouses, cold storage, then pack houses, including cleaning, sorting, and grading facilities. Then supply chain activities also covered, including e-platform. Then to create the community assets for smart and precision agriculture, beneficiaries who want to set up, they can avail this facility. Then input production units can be set up under this scheme. Apart from these two activities, that primary processing activities also covered. So on our portal, we provided the detail of the activities which are covered under this scheme. So here I would like to close my brief introduction. Now I will request my team member, Mr. Amresh. He will give the detailed presentation on the AIF. Thank you, everybody.
Now we welcome Mr. Amresh Dev, who is the consultant, Central PMU. He will be giving us the overview of the Agri Infra Fund.
So my name is Amresh Dey. I'm a consultant at Central PMU. I'm basically from NABARD Consultancy Services. So I will give a brief presentation about Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, about its features, eligible activities, eligible beneficiaries, and what is the process to get the benefit under Agri Infra Fund. In the end, I will have a live session on the portal. What are the details available on the Agri Infra Fund portal, and how to register through the portal, and all those details I will discuss after this presentation. So as Meena sir has already highlighted that there are many infrastructure related gap in the agriculture sector of the country. You talk about post harvest management infrastructure, there is a huge gap. As per the study of CIFET, there is another around a loss of 15% post harvest loss in the field of agriculture. Then there is huge dependency on intermediaries such as traders and distributors, etc. As a result of which at the grassroots level, the price realization is somewhere around 30 to 50%. There is lack of long-term institutional funding in case of agriculture infrastructure, and there is huge potential in the field of small and micro industry which are coming up, the startups and all. So to meet this gap, this scheme was announced in 15th of May 2020 under Atmanirbhar Bharat package, in which it is disclosed that a total fund of rupees 1 lakh crore rupees loan will be disbursed under Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, which was subsequently approved by the cabinet on 8th of July 2020. This date is important because all those disbursements, all those projects whose first disbursement was made after 8th of July 2020, they are all eligible under this scheme. And subsequently on 9th of August 2020, Honorable Prime Minister has launched this scheme officially. And recently, after completion of its 1 year, there are some modifications were made that will be discussed in this PPT. So as it is highlighted here in the PPT, you can see there are two major benefits under this scheme. One is credit guarantee, another is interest subvention. Under interest subvention, there is a subvention of 3%. It is not exclusively 3%. Actually, what we have done is, if some bank take interest to participate in agriculture infrastructure fund, they have to sign an MOU with ministry. So in the MOU, there are two conditions. One is they cannot charge interest rate beyond 9%. There is a cap of 9%. And which is being calculated on the basis of MCLR plus 100 basis point, but capped at 9%. So normal interest rate for agriculture infrastructure, now the interest rate is lower, but before this launch of scheme, before this COVID thing, it was around 10 to 11%. So now it is reduced to 9%, and on the top of it, along with this agriculture infrastructure fund interest subvention, the effective rate of interest is below 6%. And second, as per the MOU that we are signing with each of the banks, the second condition is that all those loan application has to be disposed within 60 days of its received. They have to take either a decision of rejection or approval within 60 days of the receipt of application. And second key features of this scheme is credit guarantee. As such, Government of India is not directly providing credit guarantee support to this project. Actually, there is a CGTMSE fund which you all must be aware that if you are not interested to give your collateral, then in that case you have to pay something towards the fee of CGTMSE. This fee is being reimbursed by the ministry under this scheme, credit guarantee support. And in case of FPO, there is another scheme, that is FPO promotion fund scheme, that is being this credit guarantee support is currently being provided by SFSC, that is Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium. So as you can see, this is all kind of beneficiary, whether it's farmers, FPO, PACs, agri-entrepreneur, all those private players, startups, they're all eligible under this scheme. So this benefit under this scheme is limited for 7 years and 2 crore, up to 2 crore. Now the question must be arise that if you apply for a loan beyond 2 crore rupees, what will happen? So if the loan amount is beyond 2 crore rupees, you can always go for a loan higher than this amount, but this interest subvention and credit guarantee support will be limited up to 2 crore. And this duration, the tenure of the loan can be more than 7 years, but the benefit will be limited up to 7 years, including moratorium period. The moratorium period's maximum limit is 2 years. From the side of Government of India, we keep on reviewing banks, all those lending institutions, state nodal officer, to provide as much facility as possible from our side to various stakeholders. And along with that, there is a very user-friendly portal that we have developed for agriculture infrastructure fund, through which all these applications are being processed and being forwarded to the bank for sanction and disbursement, and subsequently claim settlement. So we have signed MOU with almost all the major banks in the country, whether you talk about commercial bank or cooperative banks, NABARD, NCDC, NBFCs. We have signed MOU with most of the banks in the country. Another key features of this scheme is that it can be converted with any other state government or central government scheme. It is just a top-up scheme, and it can be converted with any other scheme, whether it is a capital subsidy scheme or interest subsidy scheme. It can be converted with any other scheme, capital subsidy or interest subsidy scheme. So as we discussed recently in 8th of July 2021, as per the requirement of several stakeholders, there is some modifications were recently made in the scheme. One is like APMCs, state agencies such as State Warehousing Corporation, State Seed Corporation, National and State Federation of Cooperatives, and FPO SAGs Federation. Right now they are all eligible under this scheme. Earlier this scheme was like each entity was limited to submit up to only one application. Now it has been extended for the limit has been extended for 25 projects. Each of the entity can submit 25 applications. However, here the condition is that each of the project has to be located in different LGD code, means different village. LGD code means local governance code. It mostly represents a village. So each of the entity can submit up to 2 crore rupees loan in each of the LGD code, the total cap of 50 crore. And earlier APMCs were not eligible, and now APMCs are made eligible. Along with that, this limit of 25 is not applicable to APMC. APMC can create n number of infrastructure within its operational area. The scheme was earlier up to 2024. Now it has been extended for another 2 years. This is disbursement period. It is extended up to 25-26. These are the eligible activities under this scheme. Here your question must be why these activities, why not other activities? Because this is a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat package. When during its launch in May 2020, Agri Infra Fund was launched along with 2 other schemes, that is Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Fund, and the second is this Ministry of Food Processing PM Micro Food Formalization Scheme, PMFME. of Ministry of Food Processing. And earlier already there is a scheme for fisheries, that is Fisheries Infrastructure Development Scheme. So these four infrastructure related schemes are being run by several ministries. So all those infrastructure which are related to agriculture, whether it is community farming asset, post-harvest management infrastructure, up to primary processing, that is being dealt by Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. If it is animal husbandry related project, that is being dealt by Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Fund. And for food and fisheries respectively, other ministries are dealing with this scheme. So under this scheme, the benefit, the eligible activities are only limited up to primary processing activity. So first is related to production. Production aspect that is being covered for only community farming asset, and certain production related activity which are covered under the scheme include this smart and precision agriculture. Under smart and precision agriculture, if a group of farmers such as FPO, SHGs, JLGs, they want to create some kind of custom hiring center, or even they want to buy one individual machinery for the benefit of all other farmers, that is being included in smart and precision farmer agriculture. Along with drone-based project or any other modern agriculture related mechanization, that is eligible under smart and precision agriculture. Along with that, and at certain point of time, many individuals are also interested to create custom hiring centers, etc., for the benefit of other farmers. In that case, also individuals are also eligible for this kind of projects. If they are renting out the facility to other farmers through this project, if many other farmers are getting benefited, we are considering them as community farming asset. It is not necessary that it has to be a group. It can be an individual, but if it is providing benefit to multiple number of farmers, then it can be a part of community farming asset. For an example, you can see seed processing unit, tissue culture unit, nursery, etc. It is not for the consumption of only the promoter. It is for the benefit of other farmers. So it can be considered as a community farming asset. Similarly, supply chain infrastructure for a group of farmers, that is also eligible. And earlier it was only mandatory that only registered farmers groups such as FPO, SHG, JLG, they has to they will be covered under this kind of category. Later on, it was understood that if some farmers which are not legally bound as a group, like they are not formally made as a group such as FPO or SHG, they also can come together. 4 or 5 farmers can come together, and they can write an application in the name of Sarpanch, and if the Sarpanch sign this document that these 5 farmers are coming together to make this asset, so that is also eligible under the scheme. Second eligible infrastructure is post-harvest management infrastructure, such as pack house, storage, dry storage, cold storage, and silos, supply chain infrastructure. And along with that, if there is already some eligible infrastructure as listed here, if they want to have solar panel on the top of it, then the solar panels is also eligible under this scheme. And under primary processing, rice and dal mill, flour mill, oil mill excluding refining, spices grinding, jaggery and sugar processing, etc., also eligible under this scheme. So this scheme is a top-up scheme, as I discussed. So this can be converged with any other central or state government scheme, as I have earlier discussed. A few major scheme of central government is highlighted here that you can see. One is MIDH scheme, or you must be aware, that is Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture. Under this almost similar kind of post-harvest management infrastructure, you talk about pack house, cold storage, reefer vehicle, etc. All are included in this scheme, where you can get a capital subsidy of up to 50% under this scheme. Similarly, there is a scheme which is launched along with Agri Infra Fund under Atmanirbhar Bharat package, that is PMFME of Ministry of Food Processing Industry. In that also you can have up to 35% of capital subsidy on several agriculture infrastructure. Then for agriculture mechanization, there is a scheme SMAM, submission on agriculture mechanization. This can also be converted with Agri Infra Fund, and other schemes such as RKBI, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, PM Kisan Sampada, Operation Green, and PM Kusum, in which solar pumping system is being provided capital subsidy. These all schemes are some of the indicative schemes which can be converged with Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. Along with that, all other state and central government schemes are also can be converged with Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. And for an example, in Rajasthan state government is running another scheme in which the similar kind of infrastructure which are being covered under Agri Infra Fund is also covered under that scheme also. In that, the state government is providing 5% interest subvention. So when that scheme of 5% interest subvention is conversed with Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, the effective rate of interest is somewhere around 1%, which is quite an effective rate of interest for all those agri entrepreneurs. This application process is very simple. It's like there is a portal. Everything is being managed by the on this portal only. This portal is agriinfra.dac.gov.in. You have to go to the portal. You have to go to the beneficiary tab. We will have a live session on this. How you have to register yourself and all those details. I will show you upon ending of this PPT. So you have to register yourself, whether it is a company or a group or individual. They have to register themselves along with a mobile number and Aadhaar card number. If it is a company, it's any member of board can register, can provide their Aadhaar card number and mobile number, but Aadhaar card is mandatory of any of the member. They have to register themselves along with mobile number and Aadhaar card number. Once they register themselves, one auto-generated SMS will come to the mobile number along with the OTP. With the ID and OTP, they can log in, and once they log in, they can see the application, loan application. In the loan application, you have to provide basic details about the project that you are planning to do, such as what type of project it is and what are the activities you are going to do, and what is the project cost, what is the loan amount, and along with that, you have to select a particular bank, like which bank you want to apply. So you have to select the bank. Along with that, you have to select the bank branch also. So once and along with that, you have to submit a DPR in a PDF form. You have to submit the detailed project report of the project. We have uploaded DPR template on the portal, which is a 3-page DPR template, which you can simply fill in and submit this along with your application. In addition, we have also uploaded many sample DPR, around 20 sample DPRs are also uploaded on the portal. Both PDF formats are available. Along with that, their Excel format is also available where this detailed calculation is there. So if you want to change the capacity and change the manpower, you just change and all other calculation will automatically change in the Excel sheet, and all those tables you can simply copy and paste in the DPR template and submit this application. Once this application is submitted, we will receive at ministry at the central PMU level. It will be visible by us. So at the central PMU level, we just process it within 48 hours. We try to process it within 48 hours. So at the central PMU or ministry level, we basically check 3 important things. One, whether this activity is eligible or not. And second, there is a condition under this scheme that there should be a minimum promoter's contribution of 10%. The promoter should contribute at least 10% out of the total financial outlay, excluding the capital subsidy part. So whether that is there or not, that we check. And thirdly, whether a presentable DPR is there or not, in which basic cash flow details are there or not. That these 3 basic things we check at the level of PMU, and if these 3 things are there, we immediately verify this application. Once we verify this application within 48 hours of submission that I said, it will be visible to the respective bank, the bank and branch that you have selected. We have already created credential for each of the bank, and bank has further created for their respective branches. So with their login, they can see this particular application which is being verified by the central PMU. So on the portal itself, they have to sanction the loan. Upon seeing this particular application on the portal, they can call the respective person, and they will do all those due diligence for this sanction. And upon sanction, they have to mark this sanction on the portal itself. So after that, date wise, they have to enter the disbursement amount, and then this applicant doesn't have to do anything. Bank has to submit their claim based on their calculation, the 3% interest subvention and all those credit guarantee fee. This bank has to, each of the branch has to submit to their zonal office. Zonal office has to submit it to the head office, and their nodal officer has to compile all those details and send to ministry. In every quarter, ministry will be settling this claim for each of the bank, and upon settlement, they will this interest subvention and credit guarantee fee will be reimbursed to the account of the beneficiary. It can be loan account or it can be saving account. Bank to bank, it varies. So this is a brief procedure about the scheme. So we will go to see the portal once after that. Kaushik, can you please go to the portal? Yeah, so this is the portal, that is agriinfra.dac.gov.in. So here you go to the about scheme. So in this FAQ, most of your all those general questions that is arising in your mind are addressed here in this FAQ, and we keep on updating this FAQ. You can see many questions and answers there. And then can you please go to eligible project on the top? Go to the bottom. Yeah, here you can see crop wise we have mentioned which all are the activities which are eligible under the scheme and which are not. All those primary processing activities are highlighted here. You can see for fruits and vegetables, for an example, washing, cleaning, drying, sorting, etc. are eligible. However, some secondary processing activities such as dehydration, pulp making and juice making, etc. are not eligible. Here all the detail of each of the crop and all those activities eligible under Agri Infra Fund which are eligible and which are not is highlighted here. You can see that. Go to the top, the lending institution, click on lending institution. Interest rate. Yeah, here you can see all those banks and their interest rate. There is one thing that all those cooperative infrastructure, cooperative lending institution, DCC, District Central Cooperative Bank and State Cooperative Bank, right now they are eligible to provide loan only to PACS, that is Primary Agriculture Credit Society. So for this PACS, this 4% interest rate is applicable. At present, these cooperative structures are not eligible to provide loan to individual borrower. They are only eligible to provide loan facility to PACS. So there is a scheme of NABARD, that is PACS or MSC. Under this, due to the benefit of the refinance, they are able to provide a loan at the rate of 4% to PACS. On the top of it, if Agri Infra Fund is converted, the effective rate of interest for PACS is 1%. For all other banks, the interest rate keep on updated. So for an example, you can see AU Small Finance Bank, their interest rate is 9%. Yeah, you can see Bank of Baroda is 8.6%, then Bank of India is 8.25% kind of. So this is the overall interest rate. On the top of it, this Agri Infra Fund subvention will be applied. Resources. Yeah, here you can see, click on resource. Yeah. Can you please category can you select DPR in the category? Okay, so this is the template for DPR that you can see on the screen. These are some basic details that you have to fill in and submit along with your application on the portal. Can you please go back? DPR sample in the category on the top there is a DPR sample. Yeah. Go to search. Please search. Yeah, here you can see that for each of the activity, 2 DPRs are uploaded. One DPR is along with capital subsidy, and the other is without capital subsidy. These are all PDF copies which you can convert into Word file and modify on your own. And please go to again on the top. Yeah, in the category, please select others. Here you can see for each of the DPRs, this Excel sheet are there. You can simply download this Excel sheet and update the Excel sheet as per your requirement, whether it's capacity or manpower, etc. You can change here, and after that, all other details will be automatically calculated in the Excel sheet itself. Yeah. Here, go to the registration. Here you have to start the process of registering yourself. You have to write your name and mobile number and Aadhaar number, and then you click on send OTP, where you will receive the OTP, and subsequently you can apply a loan application with this user ID and password. Please go again to the beneficiary. Yeah, here the DPR template is there. Please click on the checklist document. Yeah, here as per our discussion with several banks, these points are emerged that mostly what are the documents that they normally seek for sanctioning the loan. Here are those documents which bank normally seek. After submission of this application on the portal, you should be ready with these documents to submit to the bank physically, so that your loan gets sanctioned without any further delay. So that's all from my side. Thank you for listening. We can have a question answer session right now.
This is GM Shastri from AB Farmers. Coffee plant to coffee beans and coffee powder. Will it be eligible?
Yes, that is eligible, sir.
Okay. Because it requires a lot of processes: cleaning, grading, sorting, and then roasting, and then powdering,
Grinding.
processing.
Yeah, powder.
Yeah.
Is eligible.
All of them are eligible for this. Thing. Will a startup like us, registered under liability partnership firm, can apply for this fund, and then we will work with a group of farmer producer companies who are growing coffee and doing the processing. Are we eligible for applying?
Both startup and FPO can apply. You're eligible, sir.
Both startup and FPO together can apply.
No. Individually can apply.
Only individual should apply.
I'm telling that startup is also eligible, FPO is also eligible.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Sir, a couple of questions are there in the chat box. The first one, the non-profit entities like NGOs are eligible, sir?
Yes, they are eligible.
Is dairy eligible? Dairy processing eligible for this?
See, right now for dairy-related milk chilling and etc., there is another scheme, that is Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund, under which similar kind of benefit is being provided. However, as we are getting many queries from several entities to include dairy into this, we have put a note, and it is on the table of some higher authority to take the decision. So right now it is available under Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Fund.
Sir, somewhere in the video it is mentioned that you will be looking at the balance sheet as one need to upload the balance sheets. So is it there an implication that one need to be experienced entrepreneur in this, or is that even the fresher can go ahead?
No, you can go ahead. That is a requirement from the bank while sanctioning the loan. Most of the time they seek this kind of document. That is why it is said in general way.
So in turn, even the fresher can go ahead with it, right, sir?
Yes. There is a question that it is mentioned that, sir, as you said, 3% interest rate will be charged, but again different banks showing different rate. Actually, the thing is that the cap is 9%. However, the interest rate is MCLR plus 100 basis point. So based on the MCLR of each of the bank, their interest rate is different. Some bank has 8% interest rate, some bank is 7%, 7.5% interest rate, but it should not be more than 9% as per the MOU. That is their interest rate. On this interest rate that is being charged by bank, on the top of it, ministry is providing 3% interest subvention. 3% interest subvention is provided irrespective of their interest rate. And their interest rate is capped at 9%. And the interest rate varies from bank to bank because it is linked to MCLR. So it is like that. Another question is there, if beneficiary cannot provide 10% towards capital, can he or she get outside funding and use it as a contribution of the project? That is up to you, but only thing is that the term loan will be 90% of the total project cost, and it can be contributed from any other source. Apart from the capital subsidy, at least 10% contribution should be from the side of promoters. Next is, are the application accepted throughout the year? Mr. GM Shastri is asking. Yes, this application are being processed throughout the year, and once you submit this application on the portal, it will be processed within 2 working days from the side of ministry.
Banks are asking any security for granting the loan?
See, under this scheme, this credit guarantee support is there up to 2 crore rupees. So it is not, banks are not supposed to ask for secondary security. However, primary security, most of the banks, all the banks are asking for primary security. But if it is covered under CGTMSE, banks are not supposed to ask for collateral. However, if the loan amount is more than 2 crore rupees, so bank may ask for security because up to 2 crore is being covered by CGTMSE.
Sir, this is Sushant Padhiyari. I have one question. We have a startup company, but we are planning to start with collaboration of SHG and FPO. What will be the modality in operating this kind of schemes? Will be the sole authority for that means operating the scheme and the financial things.
As you are a private entity, you can apply as a private entity. On the portal, while selecting the type of applicant, you can go with private player. And in the back end, you can procure from FPO, SHG, and you can do through the project through FPO. We don't have any problem. But as you yourself is a private entity, you can apply as a private entity itself.
The technology-based startup, you said that startup are eligible. the technology-based startup who are working with the technology and supply chain. They are eligible for this fund. Few who are building the infrastructure that are eligible only.
What kind of infrastructure you are talking about? What is your activity?
We are the technology-based company, and we are working with the FPOs.
Okay.
And we are connecting these FPOs to different markets all over the India. We want loan for the technology and your scale for scale.
So technology, as in if you are procuring from farmers and you want to connect them to market, so you must be require logistic facility. Okay. For logistic, if you are taking loan, that can be converted with AIF. But for training, for procurement related working capital, that is not eligible under AIF. If you are procuring and you want to make a warehouse for procurement, if you want logistic related vehicle, they are all eligible under this scheme.
Okay. So in this, the FPO can take the loan, and the both FPO and the company can take loan together.
Together, how can you take? You are a private entity. So if you are taking loan as a private entity, then you have to apply as a private entity. If FPO want to take loan on behalf of them for their own infrastructure, they can also apply separately. There is no issue. Only catch here is that Agri Infra Fund, like under Agri Infra Fund, this credit guarantee support is not provided to FPO. FPO's credit guarantee is provided by SFSC, the Small Farmer Agribusiness Consortium.
IoT based crop harvester can be eligible for this one?
Yes, of course. That is eligible. Okay. And you are an individual want to purchase it on your own and use it on your own, or you want to rent it out also?
So I need to develop it and also make it as distributed into the farmer.
Yeah, it is eligible. It is eligible.
Even development also, right?
No, research and development is not a part of this. If you want to purchase some drone or IoT related machinery for harvest and all, for that this loan is available here. But for research and development, if you want to apply for loan, Agri Infra Fund won't allow that.
See, is there any cap on the number of applications that can be quoted in one enterprise?
No, as such, there is no cap, but per entity can apply up to 2 crore rupees loan in one village, and one entity can apply up to project for up to 25 projects in different locations. But each of the project has to be located in different village.
Got it.
But suppose for an example, but there is a thing. For example, today you create one warehouse, okay, in village X, and in the same village, and you take a loan of 1 crore rupees, and then after 1 year you want to have a way bridge of 50 lakh rupees. That can be covered within the same village because your limit for that particular village is 2 crore rupees.
Yeah, Dr. Kagne calling from Maharashtra. Sir, pet food industry is eligible for this AHIDA?
Pet food is not. That is secondary processing activity. That is not eligible.
Setting up the distillation unit in aromatic plants, is it eligible for that?
Oil extraction distillation is eligible. You can apply.
Yeah, sericulture and harvesting the coconut and production of the silk and all.
Actually, sericulture is yet to get approved. Actually, the way I shared, this animal husbandry related thing, and along with sericulture, mushroom, they are all pending at the level of some policy maker. Once we get approval, then only we can say something. Right now, it is not eligible.
Okay. So policy maker means will it be will expect in the next couple of months, or is there any?
Maybe by the end of this month we are expecting. Once it is eligible, we will add that in the eligible activity list in the portal. In the portal we have we are showing the crop wise which are the activity eligible. If sericulture is eligible, we'll add that in the list.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I have a query on the coconut aggregation thing. Sir, can projects related to aggregating coconuts or coconut husks, can they become eligible for funding on this?
What are you making out of husk? Are you making organic manure or?
Yes, sir, organic manure. We are also looking at doing paper and other things, further value-added products from there on.
See, paper and all is not eligible, but organic manure from coconut coir is eligible.
Hello, sir. This is Diptish Mukherjee from Zen Farms. We are a startup who are aggregating farmers online and enabling them to earn more through precision agriculture and vertical farming. So my question was, will I get any kind of eligibility with vertical farming in this?
Yeah, that is eligible. Vertical farming is eligible.
Okay. And because the
Yeah.
cap is up to 25 projects, if we look to
Yeah.
scale this, say I take up 25 such loans, I pay back 25 such loans, and then is it finished off, or can we go on a chain of loans continuously and paying back them continuously?
No, each entity is eligible for up to 25 projects.
Okay.
For once you register, your limit will be 25 project and 50 crore loan. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this is Palani from Bangalore, sir. That is eligible for beekeeping model, sir.
As of now, beekeeping is not eligible because there is another scheme of honeybee mission.
Honeybee mission. Yeah. I know that. Okay, thank you, sir.
The selection and rejection rate for any project till now?
At ministry level, the rejection rate is very less because wherever we find there is gap, we mark it as pending for information. And if the activity is not eligible, the very activity is not eligible, it is purely secondary processing based activity. In that case, we normally reject. Otherwise, the rejection rate is very less. You can say around 6 to 7%.
Okay, if any application ministry rejected one time, so he can apply another application?
Yes, of course, you can apply another application. With the same login ID, you can again apply.
And can we take multiple activities which are listed in your allowed activities?
Definitely. You can select multiple activities, and while submitting this application on the portal, there is an option composite project. You can select composite project and multiple activity you can select.
So I just wanted to know, like, can agri-tourism can be like, can we go for agri-tourism under this scheme?
No, agri-tourism is not eligible. This is for community farming asset and primary processing related post-harvest management activity. So agri-tourism is not getting covered in any of this head.
Fisheries related.
No, fishery related, only cold storage and vehicle is eligible. But all other infrastructure related thing that is being covered under Fisheries Infrastructure Development Fund.
Sir, what is the disbursement period, the loan amount disbursement period? How long it will take, sir? What is the time period?
There is no restriction, no limitation from the side of ministry. Bank, that depend on bank and the beneficiary.
No. Suppose if I want to complete the project, if I want to complete the project within 12 months, sir.
That is up to the bank. You have to pursue it to the bank.
Okay.
There is no restriction from the side of ministry.
No, that's a fund disbursement I'm asking.
No, there is no information from the side of ministry. It's absolutely between bank and the beneficiary.
Hi, sir, could you please clarify what is the capital subsidy and a project DPR without capital subsidy? I'm sorry, probably would have missed it.
Yeah, actually, there are like for each of the infrastructure, suppose for an example, banana ripening chamber, there is capital subsidy available under MIDH scheme, Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture. So we have prepared 2 DPR. If suppose for an example, you are not getting any kind of capital subsidy, you are only applying exclusively for Agri Infra Fund. So for that, the DPR and calculation is different. For those projects for which you are getting capital subsidy, their calculation is different, right? So for that reason, we have uploaded 2 different DPRs. One is along with capital subsidy, and other is without capital subsidy. In both the cases, Agri Infra Fund is there.
So we'll have to map if the particular project is coming under some sort of capital subsidy or not first.
See, like for whatever agriculture infrastructure you go for, most of the agriculture infrastructure has some or other capital subsidy by some or other central government or state government scheme. Now, like if this activity is eligible under Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, you can apply to the portal, and through the portal you can get the benefit of only agriculture infrastructure related benefit, interest subvention and credit guarantee. If you want capital subsidy, For that, you have to apply to a separate ministry. But the thing is that if you are converging both of the scheme, then for for those scheme which is taking both capital subsidy and interest subvention from AIF, their DPR and calculation will be different. And for those for which you are not taking capital subsidy, their calculation will be different. So that is why there are two different DPR on the portal. And two different Excel sheets are also available. So that you can easily calculate and submit. That is the main objective.
SIDBI, is SIDBI available as a bank?
No, SIDBI is not available as a bank now.
Are you supporting for the seed production, seed development, seed purity development and seed production?
Yes, seed production is eligible.
Seed production is eligible. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So how can we link up that subsidy ones with this application? For example, if I apply for food processing scheme, that 30% capital subsidy, right? How can we link up that project with this agri-infra fund? So do we need to apply on food processing website and they'll forward that application to agri-infra fund? How does it work?
See, both are two different scheme by two different ministries. So all those activities which are eligible under AIF, you have to apply to the AIF portal and process it through bank. And if it is this subsidy is available from Ministry of Food Processing, you have to apply separately as per their procedure.
So, for example, if the project get approved by the food processing, right, that subsidy will come to this loan. How exactly? Actually,
for example, there is a 1 crore rupees loan that you are taking, and this capital subsidy part is being covered by Ministry of Food Processing, and the interest subvention part is being covered by Agri Infra Fund, for an example. So, and this out of this 1 crore rupees, 25 lakh rupees capital subsidy is there from the side of Ministry of Food Processing, this capital subsidy. Whatever subsidy you go for, in most of the cases, they are all back-ended subsidy. So the entire amount you have to take loan from the bank, this 1 crore rupees. So your loan will be sanctioned for 1 crore rupees, and you have to enter 1 crore rupees, you have to apply to the Agri Infra Fund portal. And this Ministry of Food Processing, suppose they are this capital subsidy of 25 lakh rupees, that will come at the end of this your repayment, towards the end of your repayment. That is a back-ended subsidy. So all those interest subvention, whatever is applied to this 1 crore rupees loan, that is being claimed by a bank and settled by ministry and submitted to your account. And all those this capital subsidy related benefit, it will be come to your account from the Ministry of Food Processing.
okay, basically we need to apply on their website, and then for loan amount we need to get loan from Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, right?
Yeah,
That's what you're
yeah,
saying.
right.
Oh,
Right,
okay,
right.
got it. Thank you.
Here, Amresh, I would like to add, there are the many schemes of state government and central government are there where there is restrictions. The scheme guidelines says that you can avail the benefit of one only. But in case of Agri Infra Fund, there is no restrictions. You can avail this facility as well as other benefit, other scheme benefit also. That means it is there is no at all restrictions. In many schemes, there is a restrictions that only beneficiary can avail the one facility like that. But it is not a case for AIF.
We need two schemes. So, for example, central government is giving 25% subsidy, and the state also has got a similar scheme where they are offering it 35% subsidy. And besides the Agri Infrastructure Fund interest subvention, in such case, what is the applicants can choose, or both, whether they can avail all the three or only two, or what is the status, sir?
See, Agriculture Infrastructure Fund is a top-up scheme. It can be converged with any other state government and central government scheme. Now, two different schemes for capital subsidy. If it allows, then you can apply separately to central government scheme and state government scheme as back-ended subsidy, and but the loan amount you have to apply through Agri Infra Fund portal, and the subsidy, this interest subvention benefit, you can take from AIF.
Means 25 lakhs central and 25 lakhs state, both can avail.
Things vary from scheme to scheme. If there is some scheme which allow convergence between both state and central government scheme, that is of the scheme. Only I can talk about Agri Infra Fund. It can be converged with any other scheme. Further, if if your infrastructure is being allowed by both central government and state government scheme to take the benefit, you can definitely take. We don't have any problem with that.
For benefit of all the beneficiaries, all the participants, we are working on that identifying that schemes which can be dovetail or convert with this scheme. So on portal you will get that notification कि so scheme is there, state or central. So we are working shortly. That information also will be available on the portal.
Sir, just want to know that mushroom, be mushroom cultivation or like the seed which is necessary for mushroom cultivation, which we technically say it as spawn. For spawn production or mushroom cultivation, so is either of these or both of them eligible?
Spawn production, now it is eligible, being a part of agri input production. However, mushroom production is yet to be decision is yet to be taken by some senior authority.
PMFME scheme 35% and state food processing scheme 35%. That can be availed simultaneously.
See, this PMFME scheme, at the Ministry of Agriculture, we're not dealing with that particular scheme. That is a part of Ministry of Food Processing. If that particular scheme is convergent to state government scheme, we don't have any objection. But at the part of Agri Infra Fund, there is this restriction that it is only limited to primary processing activity. If PMFME through PMFME you are taking the benefit for secondary processing activity, that won't be covered by AIF. However, all those back-end primary processing activity, for example, if you are making tomato ketchup or sauce, so that ketchup and sauce making process is not eligible. However, for procurement, you must need a pack house, you must need cleaning, sorting, grading facility, and at the end, you must need a cold storage. These all infrastructure are eligible under Agri Infra Fund. So you can apply for these kind of infrastructure. For these kind of infrastructure, you can apply on Agri Infra Fund portal. And subsequently, if this PMFME can be converted with a state government scheme, you can seek from that particular department.
Okay, sir. Now, question and answer. They ask a lot of clarifications. So it is over. Sir, DG sir is there, sir. DG sir want to talk, sir, interact, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Saravanan. I'm seeing, the presence of good number of agri startups to this orientation program. It's a good beginning. So what I would like to share is, this is only the first step. You know what is Agri Infrastructure Fund, what are the provisions, and what kind of, the facilities can be provided under Agri Infrastructure Fund. As a agri startup, whatever the fund you get from any source, your agri startup is growing every day. You require additional strength. When you think about additional, support, probably you can think about Agri Infrastructure Fund. Some may be eligible, some may not be eligible, but still there is a greater opportunity, because mostly every agri startup, you work with a group of farmers, that is farmers producers organizations, or farmers producers companies, commodity interest groups, unorganized group of farmers. If they are unorganized, organize them for their benefit and your benefit. Also take the advantage of this 10,000 farmers producers organization scheme. There is a 15 lakh, grant is there. 18 lakh rupees grant and 15 lakh rupees matching grant is also given under farmers producers organization program. So that if you form a group, they will give a very strong back-end support to your agri startup. Your backward linkage, it ensures the sustainable growth of your agri startup. For that purpose, if they are not organized, you please organize them and take the benefit of farmers producers organization scheme. Once you organize farmers, they will ask what next, because they have to give you the clean, fruits and vegetables or the grains that has to be dried properly, that has to be sorted, graded, packed properly. And every farmer in their backyard, they don't have this kind of facility. That is where again you can bring in Agri Infrastructure Fund. Everyone, they need not have their own processing facility, but in the group as a common property, they can have primary processing unit, for which all support is given by Agri Infrastructure Fund. Sometimes you work with agripreneurs. Sometimes you work with agribusiness companies. Sometimes you work with NGOs. All the people can take a benefit. It is not barring anyone from taking benefit, provided they adhere to the guidelines of this particular scheme. Within the group, if group is not willing, within the group some enterprising farmers will be there. They are sometimes educationally qualified, financially sound, they are ready to take risk. Those people can take the benefit and establish a common processing facility. They get the business and they provide services to the farmers, and ultimately you have a strong backward linkage with the farmers. So you can enhance income to the farmers. You can also enhance the quality of raw material what you get for your agri startup activities. So it has a great future, and you heard from the ministry team. They are open. A beginning is made. Indicative activities are given, but they are only indicative. It is not full stop. If you have every agri startup is a unique activity. If you think some good activity has to be considered, kindly bring it to the attention of manage or to the ministry, so that at the policy decision making level they will process this. But you should also serve as strong feedback mechanism regarding the performance and enhancing the quality of Agri Infrastructure Fund. I am sure that you know about the portal, you know about the model business plans, and you please leave your email IDs. Probably the entire link will be shared with you. When you go back, you please play the same video with a group of farmers with whom you are working. There is no limitation. You can use the benefit. Your farmers who are working with you also can make use of this benefit. So you play this video, and there you will be the resource person. Today you got clarified all the questions, and when you go back, you can sort out the questions asked by your group of farmers. And during that kind of meetings, if you want any expert support, probably you can write to Manage, and we will examine the participation of someone from Manage. So I am sure that you will take this idea in your mind forward, and it will benefit you and benefit the farmers around you. Thank you very much. This is a very useful session. Today morning we had for Farmers Producers Organization. Now we are having for agri startups. I think it can benefit both together. Please take the advantage of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your remarks and kind suggestions, and we will take it forward with the ministry team. And on this occasion, I will thank our Director General for taking the lead, and agripreneurs, FPOs, and startups like the different category. This awareness program was organized with support from the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare team. And I also thank Sri K.R. Meena, Director of Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, for his presence and also initial remarks. And I thank Mr. Amaresh De, consultant from Central PMU, for complete presentation and also interacting all the question and answers. And I thank all the system partners, like there are incubation centers, there are CEOs of incubation centers, some of the director of research from the universities, and there are startups are there. Thank you very much for all your participation and all these startups. And we will share all the PPT and video link to all the participants, and also we'll give the email contact of our Manage Incubation Center for you further contact also, and also we'll share the Ministry officials communication details also. You can keep in touch with us, and thank you very much for all of you. Thank you very much.